college basketball teams have multi-million-dollar budgets, but more money spent doesn't necessarily quantify with more wins. So let's take a look at this year's Final Four on the men's side and take a look at how much money they actually spend on basketball operations and whether there's any correlation with money spent and winning games. So the team with the lowest budget in this year's Final Four is actually Purdue. Purdue's budget is about $8.8 million, which is actually the third lowest of any team that made the Sweet 16 in this year's tournament. Only San Diego State and Clemson have lower basketball budgets than Purdue, which is kind of surprising because Purdue historically is very good at basketball, particularly in recent memory. Now, just a little bit higher of a budget than Purdue is NC State, clocking in at $10 million. Again, on the lower side of all the teams that made the Sweet 16 this year. Then slightly above that, at $10.9 million, we find Alabama, which has a much greater budget for football than basketball, but still has relatively good success on the basketball court. And once again, if we compare them to the other teams that made the Sweet 16, they're right around the middle of the pack. But then we have on the other opposite end of the spectrum, the UConn Huskies, who spend nearly triple the amount that Purdue does in terms of basketball budget. UConn's budget is $24 million. Only Duke had a bigger budget in this year's Sweet 16 teams. In fact, there are actually 7 teams in the Sweet 16 this year that have a budget of over $14 million, and only one of them made the Final Four, and that's UConn.